My name is Craig Lanny. I am the National Account Manager for Spruce Safety Products, working with the Fire and Rescue Services. Today I wanted to take you through some troubleshooting with our Wi Safe 2 range. I wanted specifically to talk about the products I have in front of me here. They're all interlinkable products that do not require any chasing out of wires through your property, and they talk to each other remotely. Here I have the WST630 smoke alarm, the WHT630 heat alarm, and the W2SVP630 vibrating pad and strobe. I'll just take you through learning in Wi Safe 2 products now. We'll start with the WST630 smoke alarms. So what I need to do here is have one product on the base plate so that it's fully powered, and one product off the base plate because I need access to this wireless module here. And what I do to code it in at first is I get my pen and I'll press this pressure pad here, and the red light here will go on for 5 seconds. Now that 5 seconds is my window to press the test and silence button on this alarm to make sure that I can create a 2-alarm network. Once the red light is on and I press it, then there will be an incoming signal, and you will see that by this light flashing, a solid red light. Once it is then in a network, then the red light will just flicker every few seconds to say, yes, I've taken in the signal and I'm now in a 2-alarm network. So let's do that now. So I press the pressure pad, the light is on, so I've pressed the button, the red light has flashed, and now you'll see it flicker every few seconds. So that's saying to me that that's all coded in correctly. So if I now put the base plate on, and we can test this to make sure that both alarms go off when I press the test and silence button on one of the alarms. What I would say in a real scenario is that really what you should do is allow 2 minutes for the signal to go around the network to make sure that everything is working correctly. But for the purposes of the video, I'll do that straight away. So if I press the test and silence button on this alarm, so as you can see in here, that has worked correctly. So if I want to now create a 3-alarm network, I can add in another smoke alarm, or for example, this heat alarm here. So what I will do now is, and this is the way that I work, but I would keep the base plate off the heat alarm to get access to the wireless module on the heat alarm, and keep the base plates on these alarms. Now, because it's a mesh network that I'm forming, I don't need to code this to that and then code it to that. It's clever enough to recognize that if I code it into one alarm, then it will welcome it into that network. So what I'll do now, same as before, just get my pen, I'll press the pressure pad here on the wireless module, the red light will come on to denote my 5-second window, and I'll press the test and silence button on either one of these alarms, it really doesn't matter which, and then same again, the light will flash, it will go off, and then it will flicker to say, yes, I am now in to the 3-alarm network. So let's do that. Okay, so it should flicker now. So it's flickering now. What you'll have noticed there is that only one alarm went off, not the whole network. That's because I was in learning mode rather than testing mode. So it's clever enough to understand the difference between the two. So I'll now put the base plate onto the heat alarm. So that's powering up that alarm now. So now I have a 3-alarm network, so I'm just going to test the alarms to make sure that they're all working correctly, and I can do that by pressing the test and silence button on any one of these alarms. So as I've just learnt in the heat alarm, I'll press the test and silence button on that. As you can see in here, we now have a 3-alarm network. So now that we've established that, we now need to install these wherever you need to install them in the property. So for example, in the hallway, in the landing, and in the kitchen. But once you've installed them, it is important to press the test and silence button on them again to ensure that they're all working together correctly.